Hi, everybody. My name is Savannah, and I am part of the customer success team here at Sendible. I am so glad that you are here joining us to talk about reputation management. I am joined by Chris, who is part of the Traject team managing reviews. We are super excited to get to talk about this. Before we get started, I wanted to cover just a few housekeeping tips. First, you can see that Anne and Heather have already said hi in the chat, so please feel free to drop your chat there. If you have any questions about review management, please feel free to drop them in the questions tab that's just to the left of the chat box. And if you've joined us before, you know that we often start these webinars with an icebreaker. So my icebreaker for today, you guys can just drop your answers in that chat box, is what is a compliment someone gave you? So I think one of a compliment I received one time was that I was a kind person, and that made such an impact on me, and it made me really want to aspire to be the kind person that they thought I was. And so drop the compliments that people have given you in the chat box there so that we can all share what people have said about us, because we know that our reputation is important, and it's important to hear what. Ooh, Diana, people say you're awesome at SEO. That's amazing. And nice haircut. Hey, you always look so put together. I love it. Definitely keep dropping your answers in the chat here, and it's super good to hear what other people are saying about you guys. So Heather, a caring mom, absolutely. That is abundantly clear in everything that you do. Awesome. Well, Chris, welcome. I am so glad that you are joining us. And let's dive in to Gather Up by Traject.
Yeah, great. I kind of want to answer that question though. The compliment I've been given.
Yes.
So something it was something like I am turning 40 in 11 days. So this was quite a while ago, but back in my 20s, I had a friend of mine pull me aside and go, "How are you able to talk to everybody?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's just like, it's so easy for you. I have to think of questions when somebody's talking. I'm trying to think of the next thing to say, but it just comes so easy. And I let him know, I don't know if there's necessarily a tactic, but one thing I have learned very early on in life is that people love to answer questions about themselves. And if you actually care about their answer and you're really listening to their answer, you will have more to talk about later on. And I always find in this day and age right now, we're just so divided on political beliefs, religious beliefs, all sorts of different things that are dividing people. And I really pride myself on being able to have a conversation about anybody, whether I agree with them or not, and really have an open and frank conversation that doesn't digress into an argument about my beliefs versus your beliefs. So I love that question because it made me think back to that day, granted 20 odd years ago. But it was probably the nicest compliment I got, and it definitely stuck with me.
That's amazing. I love that. I also love the advice there, because that really is something that we all could take to heart for sure.
Right, right. And bonus points for anybody who can guess where I live today. You're going to hear an accent,
Ooh,
right? Where is
that's
Chris
a
from?
good
There are going to be some hints. So bonus points to anybody who picks that out.
one.
Drop it in the chat if you know where Chris is from. But yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this. I always laugh that I always say anybody who's inviting me to hear my own voice for 30 minutes doesn't know what's good for them, because you're going to get it, quite a bit of it. So thank you again for inviting me here. For those that don't know, both Sendible and Gather Up are owned by a great company by the name of Traject. And Traject owns lots of different softwares. And in the social media side, of course, we have Sendible, which all of you are Sendible users. And then we have Gather Up, is one of our reputation management solutions. And I was actually the third employee ever brought on to Gather Up, and the very first person on the sales side as well. And before I joined the team here, I actually came from a digital marketing background. I worked with all sorts of different businesses doing SEO, paid ads, and social media. And one of our products as well, and one of our services was reviews. So about 9 years ago is when I got introduced to Gather Up, and I shed a little tear when I think about how far this tool has come in those 9 years. I've been here for 5 years, resold it for 4 years. And in fact, when I left that agency, when the time was right, my next landing spot was right here at Gather Up. And I knew the folks that were running this company and what they were building, and I really agree. Now I learned that my spacebar mutes my microphone, so that's fun to learn. So I really want to introduce everybody to Gather Up, but I don't want this to be a sales pitch. It's not going to be. Certainly, I'll make sure you leave with a little bit of understanding of Gather Up, but more, I want it to be an educational seminar for those that may not understand everything about reviews. You might know, yeah, you might even read reviews. You might say people looked at your reviews, but maybe don't necessarily understand quite the importance, or hopefully can shed some light on that. But one of the main reasons why I love working at Gather Up is our mission statement really speaks to me. And this has been something that over the years has been changed only slightly. But really, it encompasses exactly the way we look at customer feedback and the way we look at reviews from our own customers. We want to make customer experience the backbone of your business through reviews and customer feedback. And really, what does that mean? A lot of times, I'll talk to business owners that need a little education on the value of your customers' feedback. Don't just look at them as another possible 5-star Google review. Of course, we want those 5-star Google reviews, but they're going to have a lot of great information in there, a lot of things where you can learn what you do awesome at, what you might be able to double down on, or ways that you can make improvements and find those weaknesses per se in the business, and really look at making sure that your customers are your best advocators and your best experience. Like they are going to give you those tools to be able to deliver the best experience for future customers as well. Now, again, I did promise I don't want this to be a pitch. It's not going to be a pitch. If anybody wants to meet with me after, by all means, I'll be happy to meet with you. Just in very, very simple terms, the three things that Gather Up does is gather, manage, market reviews. So we help you get reviews through automated email and text message campaigns. We pull in reviews into a dashboard automatically so that you can manage those reviews. If we have any digital marketers on the line, we do have a reseller program as well, which is what I was using the tool for before, that allows you to do this for your clients as well. We're going to give a little bit more emphasis, though, on the marketing of reviews, because this does include our social media posts, being able to take the reputation you get, share it across your social media channels, but also share it on other pieces around the web as well. And then my Mac here wants me to connect to iCloud, so I'm just going to close that up there. Oh boy, it's being pushy today. So really, I want to get into reviews and understanding reviews. And the great thing is I have some great new data. Admittedly, I made this slideshow last week, and then the good people at Bright Local came out with their review survey on Monday, and I scrapped everything and made a new one. So we got fresh data here from a company by the name of Bright Local out of the UK. They offer a lot of social media, a lot of SEO tools like rank checkers and things like that. So certainly have a look at them if you'd like. But really, what I want to talk about is the who, what, why, and how reviews. So breaking it down into those 4 parts so that we're looking at the who, what, why, and how. So let's start with the who. The who reads reviews. Now, I'm sure everybody's taking a good look at that chart here, but we're going to break this down pretty easily as we can look down here over on the not at all side. And we're going to see that in 2022, only 2% of people answered the question of how often do you use the internet to find information about a local business. So right away, we know that 98% of people are using the internet to find businesses. Well, welcome to 2023, Chris. Good for you to figure that piece out. I think we all knew that. But what I found most surprising is that there was a 13% decrease in the amount of people that are reading reviews less than once a month. So we're seeing 13% decrease from 2019 to 2022 in people doing it less than once a month. And then an equal increase on the people that are doing it at least once a week. So, yes, we know people are using the internet to find businesses, but what we're learning from this is that they're doing it more and more and more. The one interesting thing you'll find here is the multiple times a week. You'll notice a bit of a difference in the data around 2021. We were all locked into COVID at that time. We were all stuck in our homes and using reviews to learn who we were going to order from because we weren't going to go check out that new restaurant. So you will see some interesting data around 2021. So we understand people are using the internet to find reviews. And what are they finding when they look online? They're going to likely go on and look at your business, and they're going to find, first of all, your website, your social media channels. They're also going to find this, and this is known as the knowledge panel. So this is that thing you'll see over on the right-hand side of your search page when you do a search. If it's on mobile, you'll find it in the middle of your page, but it's going to give you all the business's information. So this is gather up. So we got our 136 reviews, phone number, all of our address information, and then as well our Q&A. For those of you trying to guess where Chris is from, a little hint for you, it's not Bellevue, Washington. So not there. But this is what they're going to find for your business when they do that search. Now, primarily what businesses are doing and what we're learning, customers are doing and what we're learning is they're reading your reviews. So the question here, when browsing for local businesses, how often do you read their online reviews? So we see again that 98% of people who are using the internet, they're also reading those reviews. So 98% of the consumers here are at least occasionally reading reviews. Again, very small on the never reading reviews part. We see a major decrease in that, but huge increase from 2019 to 21 and 22. It rates strong on regularly reading reviews. So again, don't take my word for it. This is, again, a great survey that's been done since actually way back in 2018. They started asking this particular question in 2019. But we see not only are people using the internet to find businesses, but what they're looking at when they find those businesses are indeed those reviews. Now, I get asked this question a lot. Where should I be getting my reviews? What is the most important site? It's right there. Any guesses? Anybody want to guess? Where is it important to get a review? It's primarily Google. And we see that increasing year over year. Google becomes the #1 site. Yes, Yelp is up there, and Facebook rounds out our top 3. We do notice a decrease in Facebook over the years. Unfortunately, Facebook left their 5-star rating system, went to a yes or no rating system. Again, I'm probably preaching to the choir with this one. Unfortunately, it looks like most people aren't really digging that. And then we see as well Yelp up there as well. Yelp has a very interesting stance on reviews. What they like to do is take all your reviews and just filter them and not show any of them, or just show a couple of them. They have a review review strategy that says if this user is not a regular user, then we're not going to show their reviews. So if any of you on the line watching this have ever tried to get your Yelp review to show that was a real review from a real customer, it's about as useful as bashing your head against a brick wall. That's about the outcome you're going to have, because unfortunately, Yelp does not care. So Yelp, although is definitely one of the used ones by customers, it's very difficult for businesses to get reviews on Yelp because Yelp will continuously filter them. Recently, Google has done some filtering of reviews as well. If you've lost a couple of your reviews over the last few months, you're not alone. Google is trying to get a little bit stricter around their filtering, spotting spam reviews, because unfortunately there are still people who sell fake reviews. That is one thing we do not do. We do not write reviews for you. We give you a platform to ask your customers for that feedback. But primarily, Google is going to be your number one place to get reviews. Certainly, though, that isn't a steadfast rule, because there will be those folks like doctors. Health grades is huge for doctors. So you're going to want that. If you're a home services business, Angie's List, well, now Angie, sorry, is still very popular for getting those reviews. Apple Maps actually pulls the reviews from around the web. So Apple Maps to this day does not have a native review spot. I say to this day because they are making moves to change that. They've recently built out a dashboard that are allowing businesses to claim their listing. So definitely, if you haven't done that, hop on Apple Maps, see if you can claim that listing, verify that the information's correct, of course, change anything that's not correct. So Apple is making moves into the review field, and they definitely will likely come with some new updates in the coming years. But right now, they're still pulling reviews from around the web. So no native reviews on Apple as of yet. Now, moving on to the what do customers want to see when they're reading these reviews? And I absolutely love this graphic because it reinforces not only stuff that we try to educate our customers on, but ways that we as a business ourselves like to communicate with our customers and ask for those reviews as well. So first of all, 88% of consumers are reading your responses. They're reading your responses. Those are critical to people looking at your business online. They want to see that you're responding to all reviews, not just the negative ones. Now, I've learned about 3,500 ways to say thank you that you can ask. And we even have a great document with 100 examples of ways to reply to reviews. But it's important that you take that time and respond to those reviews. But what I found very interesting is that 52% of consumers don't really care about reviews over a month old. They're not reading those reviews. They want to see the reviews in the last 2 to 4 weeks. We saw this happen during COVID as well, because as shutdowns happened, as things started changing, businesses started to have to operate differently if they were lucky enough to be operating during the pandemic as well. But reviews in the most recent reviews have become vitally important to people. They still say important, and anything over 4 weeks old is not actually moving the needle for them in selecting your business. The other one, this might not be a newsflash to anybody. If you're part of that 98% who read reviews, you got to have a 4-star minimum. A big misconception, though, is that you got to have 5 stars. Untrue. In fact, the optimal rating online right now is 4.3 to 4.5. Customers expect negative reviews, and they're reading your responses to those negative reviews. Very important when responding to negative reviews. Don't take it personally. It is not a personal attack. Don't be defensive when you respond to the customer. Always present a solution and invite them to communicate with you directly. Thank you so much for your review, Chris. We really do appreciate it. We are sorry you had a bad experience with us the last time you were here. That is not the standard we hold ourselves to. I'd invite you to give me a call at the store, list the phone number, ask to speak to me directly. I would like to handle this with you personally. That personal touch, that explanation, that taking ownership that this person had that experience, and then you're taking the conversation offline, inviting them to come talk with you and communicate with you directly. Now, the why. Why are customers reading reviews? And this one never ceases to amaze me. I trust consumer reviews as much as a personal recommendation from my friends or family. And this, for someone like myself, I just moved to a new city a couple years ago. Another hint of where I'm from is that houses in my hometown cost $1 million, and I didn't have $1 million, so I had to move a little bit away from my hometown. But I when I came to town, I had to find first of all, I had to find somebody to stop my water heater from leaking on day 2 in the house. So I immediately went on search for a plumber and started reading reviews. I had to get my driveway resurfaced because it was in horrible condition. Another hint where I'm from is I had to shovel snow, and that snow had to get moved, and I needed a flat driveway to do that. So coming into that new town, there were the reviews. I didn't know anybody here. Those reviews were my lifeline to understand the type of business this person does, the type of way they treat their customers, and the way customers feel after working with them. The other big one on here is how much people trust recommendations from the social media persons they follow. Now, we might have some of those personalities watching this on the line right now. You may be that social media personality. You may work with that personality. But when you're doing your social media, you are expressing your personality with the posts you put out, with the conversations you start, the communication you're doing in the comment section with your customers, continuing that conversation. And people do trust you and really want to learn from you, and well as the type of companies you like, the type of services you like, and understand the ways that they can use that to benefit themselves and maybe help their business. And then many of you might also be those product experts, writing those blog posts, working hard, making sure that you're putting new information out there, sharing with them that great information. So realistically, when it comes to what customers are doing, why they're reading reviews, one is that they trust those reviews as much as a personal recommendation. By the way, I didn't make a slide on this, but there's some great data on the most trustworthy review sites. Google tops that list. So people do trust Google reviews quite a bit. But very important to make sure that in addition to getting those reviews, you are being that social media personality, continuing that conversation with them. And if you are that product expert as well, that you're sharing those experts and sharing opinion and tools that you use that have been helpful that they might also find useful. This one I love, and it actually broke a misconception that we admittedly had. The number one way to get a review, if you asked me last week, it's SMS because it has the highest open rate. Wrong. Yes, a lot of people do read their text messages. They do open their text messages. And don't get me wrong, it's still a large portion of people that want a text message. However, email top that list. Email is still the number one way that a consumer is willing to leave a review. And my thought process around this is, when I look at my life, if I'm reading my email, I'm usually sitting at my desk or I'm on my phone, but I have carved out that time for whatever reason, whether it be personal or professionally, to look at my email. So I have time to work on that email. When you send me a text message, I may be doing that email at the time, if you're lucky, but chances are I'm on the call, I'm doing webinars like this, I'm doing calls with customers, I'm out and about. And if you get me at the right time, I'll likely leave you a review, but you're more likely to get me in an email because I'm on my computer all day long. So a lot of my customers as well, I always recommend number two is that personal ask. Nothing beats a personal ask. And the best way to get somebody is a personal ask with an email that follows up. So I have a lot of customers that work with us that train their staff, and we've even written great blog articles about how to do this, but they train their staff on how to ask a customer to leave a review, and then they're triggering that email to go out afterward. So I do invite anybody to go look at Bride Local's local consumer survey. They do a great survey every year, lots of great information out there. But I did want to pull out the high points. Again, my boss would just be unhappy if I didn't at least talk about how GatherUp does get reviews. So there it is, 2 steps now. So we do ask for customer feedback. We have survey options. A lot of our customers like our review mode, which is what you see here, where your customer will get a branded email. They'll be able to leave a rating, either 5-star. We also have Net Promoter Score if you prefer to get your Net Promoter Score rating as well. And then we're going to go to a positive or a negative landing page, depending on their rating back in step 1. Of course, now we're asking them to then go share that review on any of the channels you're looking to build those reviews on. For those of you that are educated in review gating, there is a review gating policy by the Federal Trade Commission. Again, I'm not going to bore you with the details. Just know that GatherUp is fully compliant with that rule. And certainly, if anybody wants to have a chat with me later about it, we can go a little bit more in depth. So again, that's that gather, manage, market of what GatherUp does. Again, focusing in a bit more on the marketing side, we have a strategy we call our 5X review strategy. This strategy allows you to take one review and get it in 5 different places and get 5 times the views on it and get more eyes on it. I'm not going to go into each and every aspect of this. I will touch on some of the high points here. First of all is our review widgets. What our clients are doing here is sharing their reviews on their site to ensure that when a customer comes and finds their business, they don't have to now leave their site to read their reviews. Those reviews are front and center for them. This is one of our long-term partners, Pods. They use us for about 250 locations across North America, and they are big proponents of sharing that reputation all across their website as well as their landing pages. So while we have a feature at GatherUp called auto tagging, what this allows you to do is find keyword rich content and share those reviews on those particular pages of your website. Clean Juice is another longtime partner of GatherUp, who, when they came out with their cleanse juice, what they wanted to do is make sure, because cleanse juices can do a lot of different things, and they wanted to make sure that people knew exactly what people thought of their cleanse juice. So on their cleanse page, now this is towards the bottom of the page, they had a review widget set up where GatherUp pulled in all the reviews that mentioned the word cleanse and the different keywords that went along with cleanse juices, and then showcased those reviews for them. So anybody looking at their cleanse juice didn't have to wonder what the effects were or what customers were saying. They were right there for them and able to read those reviews right away. Last bit is about social media posts. Now, within GatherUp, you are able to share directly to Facebook, Google Posts, Twitter, and Instagram. But there isn't a single person on this call that needs to share directly from our channel because you got your own with Sendible. So what you can actually do, if I just hop out of here, we'll hop into a GatherUp account here. This is our GatherUp account. Got this great review here. I want to make a social post for this. Now, what this will do is take us into our social media creator. Now, we give you some boring out-of-the-box backgrounds, but what you're able to do is actually upload your own backgrounds. So you can get really creative with this. You can change the color of the text to match the background. You can crop the photo to match. We automatically resize them for the different channels. So if you want Instagram, of course, you're going to have that square one. But then what you can do is you can share directly out of GatherUp, but what I would encourage you guys to do is download that graphic. Download that graphic. We'll give it to you as a high-resolution PNG file, and then you can go pop that into your social media calendar. As well, we purposely do not date these reviews that you're sharing, so it is evergreen content. So pick the best reviews that encompass exactly what your customer does or exactly what your business does and what makes you special. The last bit here around GatherUp is our reputation scorecard. I'd invite any business owners or agencies on this call right now. If you want to pop your business name and email into the chat, I'd be happy to get you a reputation scorecard. For those watching the recording, you can email me later on. But what our scorecard will do is break down your reviews on volume, rating, recency, and sentiment. Most importantly, though, when it comes to the volume, is how do you stack up versus your local competition? How do your reviews relate to your local competition? So we'll automatically pull those in, let you know how you stack up against the local competition. Rating, hugely important. As we talked about, you've got to be a 4 to even be considered. 4.3 to 4.5 is your optimal rating there. So we want to see again how you stack up versus that local competition. And then rating or recency, we talked about that again. 2 to 4 weeks is the only time people are going to care about that. So you can see this business, their last review was almost a month ago. So those reviews aren't going to be moving the needle for anybody who finds that business. We need to consistently be asking for reviews. Again, I tried to make this as information as packed as possible. I would love to have conversations with anybody on this call. We do have a special promotion running for any Sendible customers with us. You will get your first 2 months at 50% off. We have lots of great discounts as well for multi-locations, and I would love to pull any reputation scorecard. So anybody watching this, you can email me, chris@gatherup.com. Again, I'd love to have a conversation with you if you'd like to look at GatherUp. More importantly, if you just want to see how your business or some of your customers' businesses stack up against the local competition, be happy to pull that report for you as well and share that with you immediately. That's it. And nobody guessed awesome. Where I'm from yet. So I don't think anybody knows.
Chris, this is fantastic information. It's so helpful just to see all of those different statistics. I mean, we've got to be doing reviews. That's just abundantly clear. We do have one question from Yvonne. She says that we don't promote Google and have very few reviews on it. Does this work with Trustpilot reviews?
So up until 3 weeks ago, the answer was yes. Unfortunately, Trustpilot got their lawyers involved and said, we don't want you to let your customers share our reviews. Okay. Trustpilot is a review solicitation platform as well as a business directory. So the reason is they viewed us as competition. We never thought we were competition. We thought we were a great promoter for them. So with that being said, we will direct your customers to Trustpilot to leave a review. That is something they are allowing us to do. However, when we share those Trustpilot reviews on social media or on our review widget, we do want to use the Trustpilot logo to show that this is a Trustpilot review. That's where Trustpilot had a problem. So we can request for reviews, but unfortunately, as of 3 weeks ago, Trustpilot will no longer allow us to share their reviews for their customers. So unfortunately, Trustpilot reviews will, at this point, just stay on Trustpilot.
Thanks so much for that. I don't think we have any other questions, and we are a little bit past our time, so I will get this wrapped up quickly. Just a few things that I wanted to add on top of this amazing presentation is that we know that these reviews getting on social is such a huge plus for all of you. So first, I wanted to share this blog post around content pillars written by the team here and shared on Sendible's Insights blog. It talks about all the different ways that you can utilize great content on social. And then I also wanted to include this article on customer feedback on social, because we know that this feedback is crucial, as Chris has abundantly showed. And here are just a few ways that our blog post shares to get that feedback on social. Thank you so much for attending. Please join us next week. Same time, same place. We'll see you there. Thank you so much for your time, Chris.
Awesome. My pleasure.
Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Bye.